Hello. Why are comments not allowed on KFUX? Don't you know by now? Almost every single day, sometimes even every hour on the hour, while I'm out there in your gorgeous Rose City, I encounter some of the most hostile, the most malicious elements who are hell-bent on expressing their opinions about anything under the sun. Why then, oh why, would we knowingly, intentionally either invite or engage such a hateful mentality as appertains to anything that we in turn present here at station KFUX? We wouldn't. It's out of the question. Now mind you, if there is some kind of an upset, it is eventually going to be brought to my attention. I can give you the perfect example, although it's more in the nature of a disappointment, if anything else. Previous broadcast. DC Comics versus Marvel Comics. Kids, I told you that I don't read comic books. I didn't say anything at all about not liking them. The fact of the matter is, I have tremendous appreciation, affection, and respect, not only for comic books, but moreover for the tremendous amount of work that goes into creating them, not to mention the creators behind that work. Your Stan Lee and your William Gaines and artisans like that. I'm a producer and a creator myself. Of course I'm going to have a great deal, a colossal amount of respect for that kind of thing. I just don't happen to read comic books anymore, that's all. To be honest with you, I don't read much of anything these days. I don't have the time and I don't have much concentration, much focus anymore. I wasn't asking about 9/11, I was asking you about September 11th. The tragedy in New York City. The terrorist bombings, or whoever was behind what happened. All right. Is this a where were you on Pearl Harbor kind of a question? You remember they would ask, where were you during Pearl Harbor? Where were you when President Kennedy was shot? A fixed point of solidarity, that kind of thing. I was in bed. I came downstairs and I found a note waiting for me. Dear Mr. E, turn on the TV. The U.S. is under attack. P.S. I let the cats out. Suffice it to say, the whole thing was a horrible, inexcusable incident, although I do remember being immensely relieved and very thankful that they didn't get either the Chrysler Building or the Empire State Building. Now that would have been a tragedy. Does that fan behind you work? This? Why, yes it does. I don't use it very often. I'm not much for running up the electric bill. Besides which, in this house, and especially in this office, it is preternaturally cold. Kind of like being in a walk-in freezer. When you die, are you donating your organs or your body in general to science? No. Science wouldn't want it. My husband and I used to live on Ainsworth about 15 years ago. He doesn't believe me, but didn't I used to see you roller skating up to the Asian Mart on 30th and Ainsworth? Someone's going back a few years. One moment, please. All right. Now it is true that once upon a time, I used to devote my weekends, generally from Friday all the way to Sunday night, meditating. And sometimes, halfway through the weekend, I would run out of provisions. When that happened, I would have to use the better part of an hour to walk all the way up to the Oriental store, thereabouts on 30th and Ainsworth. And, in the same exact way that it would occur to you, logically, rationally, understandably, I realized that if I could get up there and back faster, I could get back to my meditating that much more quickly. And, as it happens, I do own a pair of these original style roller skates, and I would buckle these on over my wingtips, and I would roller skate up to the store. And I would get myself a couple more bottles of Wild Irish Rose or Night Train and roller skate back and get back to my meditating. 15, 20 minutes tops. Of course, all the grooves and skid marks that I kind of etched into the cement of the sidewalk all up and down that street are probably still there to this day. I might as well have been wearing a pair of ice skates. Did you watch the Super Bowl? The most recent Super Bowl? No, I didn't even realize it was Super Bowl Sunday until after the fact. I couldn't tell you who won. I couldn't even tell you which teams were playing this year. What I can tell you, generally speaking, about the Super Bowl, coming from my own experience, is something worth knowing. Years ago, your BZM Punk's cousins, Crystal and Flea, their blood parents, Mother Star and Chunky D, they are both avid football enthusiasts, and they used to put together very elaborate but very private Super Bowl Sunday parties. And I had the distinction, I had the honor of being invited to a number of those. And I might tell you, here, let's be cutthroat about it. Suppose that you hate football, you hate athletic events, you hate sports in general. You could feel that way and attend a Super Bowl Sunday party and still have the time of your life. Between the food and the beverage, but above all, the social interaction, the fellowship and the camaraderie, the conversations alone. You wouldn't even have to cast a passing glance at the television set at all, and you would still have a blast. Now, of course, it's helpful if you do enjoy the sport, if you have some interest in the sports specs and the players and the strategies, and you can get into the excitement and the momentum of who's going to win. But I tell you, you'll have the time of your life. I haven't been to one of those in years, but I cherish those memories. Yeah, those were some magic moments.